Hello and welcome to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. So today, we are talking about entrepreneurship. And a lot of people I hear say, oh, I want to start a business. And they think entrepreneurship is so glamorous. Well, while it is in a way, I have an expert on entrepreneurship to kind of give you some of the truth about it, the good and the things that you might want to think about. So my guest today is D.Yvonne Rivers, and she has spent many years coaching entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yvonne, welcome.
Thank you, Sylvia. I'm glad to be here.
And I'm glad to have you because you have not just coached and worked with entrepreneurs, but you help entrepreneurs pitch.
Yes.
So that they get money.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
But first, entrepreneurship. So you're an entrepreneur yourself because you're coaching entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
What's kind of the evolution that got you where you are?
Well, I like to say that everyone has a story, and my story started when I was a little girl on the farm, which was a business. My mom and dad, and a history of entrepreneurs in my family. And I sort of saw the different things they were doing in their own timing with whatever their craft, their skill, or their occupation was. So as a very young girl, I knew I wanted to make money. I knew what I was good at, which was talking. And so a lot of times as a young girl, I would go around the neighborhood and I sold these customized Christmas cards. That was my first business at the age of 8, and I bought my first and only bicycle by selling customized Christmas cards. So I was an entrepreneur at a very early age. So I knew what it took with that. And that when you sort of start doing that and you enjoy it, I like to say I never worked a day in my life.
Wow, yeah.
Because I love what I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you didn't take the corporate path. You didn't.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Actually, doctor, pre-med major, accepted to medical school, was analytical chemist, left the lab without having another job, and became a stockbroker for 10 years. That itself was self-employment, my own job with that. So in the financial services industry. But bottom line, it was about selling. Bottom line, it was about marketing. So since 1997, I've had Phoebe Marketing Group, which is a marketing organization that will help businesses develop, nonprofits, strategize, get business, get contracts, and make money.
So many times, family and friends go, "Oh, that's risky. Oh, are you sure you want to do that?" And we especially African American community, but in general, we don't get encouraged by those closest to us because they mean well,
right?
But this discouraging. Did you get that?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Because it was like, go get a good job, job. No, why'd you quit your corporate job? That good job.
Yeah, the good job.
That good job. You had this, and you quit it without having something else? Are you crazy? I got all of that. But yet and still, I knew that I had to live my dream. I knew I could do what I was doing for someone else, for myself. And it was a risk. But likewise, I tell people who are working the job and going there every day, what's the guarantee that you're not going to get a pink slip at the end of the week? And so it's risk on all sides. But I like to say risk versus reward. And to me, that reward is much greater because I'm in more control of it.
Yeah. So you get in control of it.
Yeah.
We also experience probably steeper ups and downs.
Yes, absolutely. The hills and the valleys. And I guess my answer to that is if you plan, not that you plan for the worst case scenario, but you maximize your contacts, your marketing. So if one side is up, then another one may be down. But eventually you're going to get them all up. And when you make enough money, sort of put it aside, because I'm a very good strategist with money. And an entrepreneur really has to be very good with that. Because when you get sort of a surplus, you need to have a reserve and save yourself for that. Because you've got to weather it in the storm.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that rainy day fund, cash flow is what kills a lot of businesses.
So I know this conversation is going to kind of go in and out and around, but as you say something, it dawns on me. So the cash flow thing, the money thing.
The money thing.
I'll say because I'm an entrepreneur on my own too, full time. We spend a lot of time on income. Make income.
Right.
we don't look at the other aspects of money, and we especially don't look at investment or what it takes to save for that future when we don't have benefits.
Right. And you have to plan for that because you don't have the benefits and you really got to make up. Typically, benefits would be another 30% on top of what you make. And I really like to have a formula that I really set aside and spend no more than 40% of any check I have coming in because I've got my taxes to pay because no one's going to pay my taxes other than me.
That's true.
Taxes to pay as well as other reserves, medical, and so forth. Now, when you mentioned for his investments, you've got to plan ahead. Because the money you have, I like to say, I make my money work for me. And you may ask yourself, well, how do you make your money work for you? Well, what money I do make, I do investments. I've done real estate and looking at some others and whatever. So you really want to have that passive income. You can't trade dollar for hours all the time. You've got to put it aside or set up some systems or bring people under you that they're working for you, making money while you're not even there. You know, when you sleep, you can be making money, and you need to set up systems that will allow you to do that.
Explain that a little bit more. Trading dollars for hours, because
Yeah.
people may not have caught that.
Trading dollars for hours simply means you agree to work 40 hours a week for $50,000 a year. So that means you've got to put those 40 hours in to make that $50,000. But what if you could spend 20 hours a week and make that same amount on your own as an entrepreneur? Then that's much different. You're not trading hours for dollars. You really are maximizing your time because time is really what makes you money. And you decide how you spend it. You decide your value. And your value is not what people pay you. Your paycheck does not make your value. It does not.
In fact, I remember when I worked for corporate, I won't say who, but it was then a major company that's no longer so major anymore. We had a suggestion program.
Right.
Kind of the suggestion box, only a little bit a little bit fancier. And when somebody won a suggestion award, they would get, maybe $5,000.
Right.
And I would think, but what's the company getting?
Yes.
What's that company making off of that $5,000 that they gave that winner?
Absolutely. And there's an old adage, and I'm thinking it's contributed to Henry Ford, and you may have heard this before, about that Henry Ford was called in to this manufacturer because the manufacturing plant line had stopped. And they called him because he was an engineer and so forth. So he came in because it had stopped and they were losing like $1 million an hour or whatever. So he came in and spent 15 minutes or less because he knew how to solve the problem. And the manager of the plant said, well, what's my fee? And he said something like $10,000, $20,000. He said, for that little time?
Yes.
He said, but you were losing millions. So it's really, when you say for its value, there's a difference between value versus cost. You may think I've cost this, but the value I bring to you, and everybody needs to know their value. So if it only takes me 5 minutes to figure something out, I'm worth $10,000. Because what are you losing otherwise?
Right.
Just like the suggestion. They probably made millions and
Yeah.
paid out $5,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The little trickle. I thought there was another version of a story of whoever, I don't know who.
Yeah.
Who went to fix something and he popped the side of the TV and the TV started working again. This is for all the young ones who don't know what that means.
Check the plug. Make sure it's plugged in.
And he charged something like $5,000.
Right.
And he said, what? To fix that, all you did was hit it. He said, well, to hit it, I'll charge you 50 cents.
Yeah.
He said, for knowing what to hit.
Yes. It's that knowledge and that wisdom. And I tell anyone that if you've got the experience behind you, you shouldn't be lowering your price because you bring the value there. And anyone who doesn't really recognize that value, you're simply talking to the wrong customer. That is simply it. Go and find your customer. Find your demographic because they're out there.
Yeah, and there's so much. In fact, that's why people need to come to you to learn how to do that, because we don't have time to really go into depth in our conversation.
Right.
So many times I hear when you do work your passion, when you work your why, it will just come to you.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
is passion more important than market research or?
They go together.
Okay.
Whatever your passion, you've got to do the market research to determine how to do it. Now, if your passion is cooking, baking pies, and you don't have a clue how to sell those pies, that's a different story. But you can have the passion of cooking pies, but then you have to have the strategy behind the business. What I find out that a lot of times people will have fundamental skills and talents, but they don't know how to harness those talents to monetize it as a business.
Okay.
Because they've not thought of it that way. So truly, if cooking is your passion, you can turn it into a business, but it has to be a business, not just a hobby that I like to cook apple pies and at Christmas or whatever else. Big difference. Big difference in that. Yeah.
So taking that then, it sounds like, what are some of the questions to ask yourself when you're thinking, should I do this for a business? I mean, because a lot of times people don't even, you go and ask somebody, and Henry Ford's another great example that they would say, in the day of horse and buggy,
right?
If he went out and did market research on, do you need a car? People would say, what's a car? And no, I don't need one.
Exactly, right.
But yet,
they realized they needed it once he came out with it. Well, some of the questions I think a person should ask themselves, number one, are you really cut out to be an entrepreneur? Are you really ready to take that chance of the ups and downs and not have a paycheck?
So just because you're ticked off at your manager doesn't mean it's a reason to...
So I'm going to quit. Then quit on the spot without having anything else and think that, oh, I'm cut out for it. Because I think a lot of times people will look at their employer or they look at other business people and they think it's easy.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had someone, I actually had someone say, well, you must be doing well because you can just take off whenever you want to. And, you got a business account. As long as you got checks, you got money. Ooh, clueless. And it's like people like that who really have not done any research and have not been around other entrepreneurs, they need really to ask themselves, am I cut out for this? Are you willing to go and work 3 months, 6 months, a year? Do you have the finances to do it? You can lose your marriage. You can lose your relationship. Whoa. What kind of support do you have? And what kind of talents are you bringing to the table? I ask people, do your own SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are the character traits you have that can pay off in your business? If you're impatient, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. I mean, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not. So if you have other characteristics that may not jive with being an entrepreneur, that may not be for you. But test it. And I say test it, still keep your day job. Okay. And on the side, start trying to work your passion and you see what happens. But if you're impatient and you don't want to listen and you think you know the only way, maybe that's not for you.
And maybe entrepreneurship doesn't mean you're all alone.
True.
Either.
True.
Maybe it's partnering with somebody.
Well, you have to realize what you bring to the table and what else you need so you can tie in with someone else. I like to say, I want to work with other people who really have talents I don't have. There are certain things I don't know. I'm not a tech person, don't want to be a tech person, and that's the whole thing, working with someone who does have that. But you need to make sure it's in something around you that you can collaborate with someone. That if you can't collaborate or have that accessible, then it's not to your best benefit with that. Yeah.
So we're going to have to take a quick break.
Okay.
I know it just goes fast.
I know it does.
When we come back, I want to ask you a little bit more about some of the practical steps.
Okay.
I want to go into business. So what should you do first and second and third? And then we'll talk more about raising that money too.
Yeah.
Because Shark Tank, man, makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
So let's get. I should have mentioned the actual show.
Pitch competitions.
Pitch competitions. So when we come back, we'll talk more about actually starting the business.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll be right back.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I just feel like that's my destiny. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Hello, and welcome back to Think About It. I'm still Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I'm still talking with my guest, D.Yvonne Rivers. I know her by a nickname, so that's why I had to look. It's not like I forgot. So Yvonne, welcome back.
Thank you.
And we've been talking about being an entrepreneur, and a
Yes.
lot of what we talked about earlier were kind of the mindset, the finances, being ready for being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get to some steps, you
Okay.
know, without spilling everything, you know,
Yeah, you
because
gotta
that's why
call me.
people need to that's why people need to come
Okay.
consult with you. But
Right.
so I want to start a business. Where do I go? What do I do?
The first thing I tell people is, what's your business idea? You've got to have an idea, or at least a direction to go. My second question would be, what would you sell? And who would you sell it to?
Well, everybody needs mine.
Really? Then that's when I would start really asking questions.
Okay.
What's your product and service? Well, I make pies. Mine's the best pies I've ever had. So for everybody tells me, how many people have eaten your pies? Oh, maybe 100 per year, whatever. How many people in the United States? How many people would buy your pies? Can you sell your pies to people who you don't know or don't know you, or is it just family?
Right.
So those are some questions that most people will start. Oh, everybody tells me I should start a business. Everybody likes what I do. But that everybody may be max of 100 people. There are more people you do not know than you do. And unless you can get into that market, you likely cannot do that. So the idea.
Okay. And how are you going to get them out there?
Yeah,
all
exactly,
that,
right.
Yeah.
What's the idea? And really, I would start querying about, really, will this really work? Does your business solve a problem?
Okay.
Because if it doesn't solve a problem, people out there are saying, what is this and does it help me? People are thinking about what's in it for me,
Okay.
how this is going to help me. So if it's not solving a problem, what is it there for? And if it's something you have to tweak to make it solve a problem, but 9 times out of 10, when a person thinks about a business, it's something that they are not getting that they may have wanted. Necessity is the mother of invention. So if they've run across something that they may have needed, but the question is, how many other people out there may need the same thing that you need?
Okay.
Who are they? Can you describe them? Is that your demographic? And then you go into the research. Go into the research of how many people are out there and what would it take for starting this business.
Okay.
You need a computer, you need a printer, you need money, what do you need to really get started and start selling something
Okay.
and get some sales? And how much in sales will keep you going, even part-time? You know, a lot of people make the unfortunate mistake, they don't charge enough. They'll say, well, I'm just getting started, so I can't charge for so much money. Well, you got to know your cost of your goods.
Okay.
So if you're selling pies and you're selling them for $5 and it's costing you $7.50, you're losing money every time you sell one. So why are you selling pies?
And sometimes there's that hidden stuff too.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I didn't think about the gas it costs to go drive to the store or a special Yeah.
The box to put it in.
Yeah.
I have one client now who has mittens she's got a patent on. And right now she's got, I think $4.95 she's charging for shipping. I said, but you're handling it. So who puts it in the box? Who puts it in the bag? So there's some time and labor with that. So you need to up and charge shipping and handling, or else that's coming out of your profit. You know, and just as you say, for us, the travel, you need to count everything that it's going to take for you. Not only for is when you're doing, let's say training. Let's take for instance training. Not only the time you're spending with someone doing the training, your prep time, any kind of materials, any kind of printing, booklet, binders, whatever, travel, all of that adds up into what you're going to charge someone.
Wow.
Otherwise, you're getting less money and you're really cutting into your own profit. But it's all up to you.
Okay.
Because people don't know what your prices are and what you should be charging until you have figured it out.
Okay.
And if you don't figure it out, no one else is going to figure it out for you.
So you start a business. What's that point at which somebody is, so they're in business, they're kind of just making it. What's that point and the things that they might need to think about to really grow then?
Well,
because
the first,
there's that start, the growth, and exit.
Exactly. Or exit or scale, either one. Start, grow,
Sure.
exit,
Okay.
scale, or whatever. So when you're starting, the first thing I say, if you've been doing it on the side or whatever, get legit, get official business. I mean, set yourself up in a business. Otherwise, it's a hobby that you really don't know what you're making. So set yourself up officially in a business, sole proprietor, LLC, corporation, or whatever else. Get a business license so you officially set up business bank account and whatever, so you can track your money with that. So get officially with that. Then you start looking at what's the projection of what this can do. So you need to have a marketing strategy. How am I going to market? Okay. You know, is it going to be with spheres of influence, your friends and family, then social media, marketing collateral, website, but it has to be a strategy. You can't just say, well, I do this now and I do this now, and you're sort of pulling this and pulling that without it's like going to New York and you don't know how you're going to get there. You know, you can go 95, you can go Route 1, you can fly, or, you know, and go by boat and so forth, but you have to decide how you're going to go. And until you decide that, you don't know whether it's going to take you 2 days, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever else. So a plan. You got a plan. If you don't plan, you're going to fail, period.
So a lot of nowadays, we see, you know, we know to get money for your business, you actually need make money.
Right.
Go to a bank to get a loan, some other friends and family. But there's that all famous, the whole pitch events that are all over the world right now.
Absolutely.
On TV and everywhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
You specialize in coaching people for that, and you hold events.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about when are you ready to pitch, and maybe a couple of just a little pointers.
You're ready to pitch your business when you have a product or service. You know what that product or service is. You really have looked at the demographic on who you need to sell it to. You fine-tune the price and know what you need to sell it for. Now, pitching is a lot of different aspects. You can be in a pitch competition or basically doing a pitch presentation to get a big contract. Okay. So you've got to really, and it's not necessarily a pitch deck that you need, and a pitch deck is simply some slides in a presentation just talking about your business, your mission statement, your product, and so forth. So everyone really pitches every day. If you're in business, you're pitching every day. Now, the pitch competitions, what that do for you is can provide some funding for you. Okay. And you may need initial funding in the very beginning. Let's say you got a product and you need $5,000, $10,000 to produce some inventory. Then you sell it. There are various pitch competitions that you can win from $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. Or really when you're at a point that you've made money or you've got it at the scalable level, and that simply means to make millions, then that's when you get an opportunity to go on like a TV show or shoot for a TV show that can give you that exposure that you really can scale immediately. But I say go participate in pitch competitions because the more and more you pitch, the better and better you get. You get feedback. A lot of times you can win some money, but even if you don't win money, you gain that opportunity there, that other people out there get to see you. That's the whole thing. I tell people, you constantly want to pitch for exposure. If nothing more, it's just like a networking opportunity or networking event. You're pitching to everyone you meet in that particular event. So a pitch competition, you got the spotlight for 2 minutes to tell your story. And that's why you really have got to hit it and really catch that ear of people in the room. And because if you catch the ear of the people in the room for that first 60 seconds, they'll want to know more from you. Hey, I want your contact. If not now, maybe later.
That's the hardest. I think that's the hardest part to grasp. Is that the end result of that pitch is not necessarily for somebody to say, I got you and I want to give you $15,000. The end result is, I like what I hear. Yes. Let's talk some more.
Let's talk some more. I may have a partner that will want to invest in you. I may want to know more that I want to invest in you. Or there may be other people. At the least result, if you're in business and you're pitching, if you're selling a product, there are people in the room, hey, I want to buy your product.
That's true.
Forget about the money if you can sell product. Because I tell people, when people ask us, we'll just talk about funding and financing, other than an SBA loan or friends and family and so forth, your quickest way to make money, you know what it is? Get a contract.
Oh, okay. Okay. Corporate or government,
that's your quickest way, because if you got product and services and you got a marketing strategy, if you can sell your stuff, because see, what it does for you, when you're pitching, a question is going to come up. How many of your stuff have you sold? So if you've not sold anything, it's like, why have you not? that really plays a big part on whether they're going to look at you, because if you're the head of an organization and you've had 0 sales or minimum sales,
Right.
the question is, what's wrong? What's wrong? So the more exposure you have, get some sales in there, get some contracts, so they can see, okay, I just started 3 months ago, and after 6 months, I've made 1,000, I made 10,000, I made 15,000.
So they see some progress.
They see some progress. They see some progress, yeah.
So tell us what you do for people and how they can reach you, and then maybe some last words of wisdom for entrepreneurs before we close.
Okay. Well, what I do is business development for businesses and nonprofits. And back again to pitch competitions, actually, I have developed an American Dream Business Institute, which is training. And I say, if you go to a pitch competition, win or lose, you may win the prize, but most people want to have a successful business. You've got to have the training and how to run a successful business. So in conjunction with the pitch competitions, I run American Dream Business Institute, which have classes online, different levels from jumpstart to grow to scale. I do guerrilla marketing online. I'll teach for nonprofits how to grow, because a for-profit business is still a business.
I was going to say, nonprofit is just a business, a
Yeah,
tax structure.
Exactly, exactly. It's a business with that. So the online Zoom classes, I am a business coach. So my mission really is to help you achieve your fullest potential. I am your catalyst to success. And on my business card is Chief Success Coach.
Okay.
And you can reach me at 202-430-0378 or my website at that's PhoebeMarketingGroup.com. That's PHOEBE marketing.com.
And so in our last minute, what's the one thing you'd like to leave viewers kind of in their head in terms of, I want to be an entrepreneur?
Get off of go. And I say get off the go because most people say, well, I'm going. Just go. and what I mean by that is that you can study, you can do market research. You've got to have that determination and that gumption, gut, or whatever to say, I really want this. Because that's what separates an entrepreneur from other people. They go for it.
Wow.
They go for it. They go for it. They know it's risk, but you're not going to get it unless you go for it. You got to go through it to get to it.
Wow.
If you don't believe in yourself enough, and the biggest thing I hear is that people are afraid, do it afraid.
Oh. Yvonne, thank you so much for being on the show. We just went for it.
Yeah.
And it went so fast.
I know.
So people now know how to reach you because
Yes.
it's been showing on the bottom, lower third.
Great.
And again, thanks
You're
for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And with that, I invite you to join me next time on Think About It. Tune in, take what you see and hear, and think about it. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and make a great day.